This is Recruiting Unfiltered. He's a Division I player.
Committed for suicide, basically.
We're going to cover the full gamut. The roster limits actually become a detriment.
High school athletes need to really open their eyes.
We are here to talk everything recruiting. Recruiting Unfiltered. All right, guys, welcome into Recruiting Unfiltered. I'm Sean Salisbury, along with Rachel Brown, who's a recruiting expert and a scout for NSR, and Larry Perrin, who is the executive director at NSR. I need to apologize for my appearance today, guys. I had a head-on collision with my 100-pound bully, and you can imagine who won. So with a broken nose at the end of it, I'm still speaking. I don't breathe very well, but I apologize. So it's great to have you guys on. I thought my playing career was over a long time ago, and the bully proved it. So there you go. So good to have you guys on. I appreciate you, and I hope things are going well. You know, this week, and I'm going to lean on your expertise, we, D1-itis and talk about D1, but Division II has also adopted some new rules. And let me just read real quick and we'll get some response from it. The executive board of the Division II, the new rule, which is obviously Division I as well, but Division II gives athletes 5 seasons to complete 5 years, period. That we know that, we discussed that before. 5-year clock, the athletes are allowed 5 years to complete 5 seasons of competition. The clock starts at the earlier of the 2 dates. So folks out there know, first full-time college enrollment or the academic year after the student's 19th birthday. The clock can be paused for specific reasons like pregnancy, active duty military service, and obviously official religious missions like BYU, Utah, go on schools like that. There is no, and I was looking over, there is no age limit to compete in NCAA Division II sports. However, you must compete within the strict 5-year eligibility window once your clock starts. So the day the clock starts, 5 years later, the calendar year, the day it ends. So you guys know that, just to let people know what we're discussing here today. So Rachel, let me start with you. You like it?
Well, as a former college athlete, I think it's great. Are you kidding me? I get another year to play. Another year before I had to enter the workforce. So right. Yeah, I think that as a college athlete, I would be all for it. I did play. Technically, I was there 5 years. Took a redshirt year during my college career, but obviously now in the position I'm in, it changes things. I'm looking at it now as a scout. We're advocating for high school athletes majority of the time. And so for them, it's kind of a punch to the gut a little bit. You know, it's a little sad because at least initially, I'm sure in time it will level itself back out. But at least initially, it's going to cause some detriment to some upcoming classes, 27, 28s, maybe even trickling down into the 29s. It's going to cause some detriment. So, yeah, I know we'll get into the nitty gritty details, but I think initially, as a former athlete, very cool. College athlete, very cool. As a current scout, man, that's going to cost us a little bit.
Larry, thoughts?
Well, I know, again, like Rachel said, from an athlete standpoint that's currently in college that falls in that window, it's great. To the high school kid, not so good, and even from a college coach standpoint of having to manage the roster now with this coming out at such a late time, there were scholarship offers that were pulled because the coach didn't have the budget available with new kids coming or, with some of the existing kids electing to stay on the program. So from a roster management standpoint, it created some chaos and will continue to create some chaos. The other thing, Sean, is the litigation and the amount of litigation that's going on. Everybody knows the Sweeney, Judge Sweeney's statement, in Colorado about the Division I level. Well, you're going to start to see that also happen at D2 levels as well. It's a virtual floodgate that's going to open up with regard to litigation. And it's going to cause even more confusion for everybody. So I don't think this is by any means settled. The ruling was designed to squelch some of the litigation and to set a parameter that was firm. But, as long as there's courts and as long as there's lawyers, somebody's going to go in there and stir the pot.
And you can sue for anything. Anytime you walk across the street, somebody can sue you. With that, guys, you mentioned the high school athlete, Division I, but we're discussing Division II rule in place. What do you tell your guys when you're in high school that comes in and is looking to get recruited? How do they, what do you tell them? How do you approach this rule with them when they ask about it, or if they still aren't overly familiar with it? What do you say to them? How do you keep their spirits up? How do you convince them that this isn't favorable to the high school player? And then we'll get to how many times are the rules going to change to affect the high school player and favor everybody else? But start with it, Larry. Let's start with you. What do you think? What do you say? The kids' frustration, because it does make it one step tougher for the high school athlete that's not Arch Manning coming out of school.
Correct. You have to. This is a process, and the athlete and the parents, the family, they need to understand that we have to stay the course, and we have to do things now at a higher level with regard to our academics. We need to make our academics shine. We need to make our athletics shine even more. We need to do extra things, work in the weight room, working on our skill set, and make ourselves even better. Where these coaches, when they're weighing these offer opportunities, they want to lean towards that one athlete. Number two is we have to be, as scouts, aware of holes that pop up at certain places. Kids that may not come back and take that fifth year, that opens up a hole for that program. So, I think what's advantageous to us as scouts is we talk to college coaches every day. We kind of know what they're dealing with, a lot of them with the rosters and how they're dealing with those roster spots, their exit interviews, all these sorts of things. And we need to have these athletes ready to go and plug in immediately when we find out there's a new job available.
Rachel?
Yeah, just to piggyback off of that, because Larry's absolutely correct. All of those things that we do as scouts to fill in the gaps and be the bridge between the athlete and the college coach. But I think the main thing for us, and we've been doing this for a long time now, and this is one thing that has never changed, is us as NSR scouts, we're going to tell you the truth, right? The athlete, that I think people know that coming here is where they're going to get the truthful information. Whereas, yes, I know club coaches and swing coaches and travel ball coaches, they all have, your best interest, I'm sure, but they also may not want to ruffle feathers. And so they may not tell you how this rule can really affect you. They may try to sugarcoat it a little bit. And for us, we're truth tellers. We're going to tell you the reality of the situation. But the thing is that this is the reality, but we also have the solution. So, and it's all of those things that Larry just said. So,
Larry, yeah, sorry about that. Go ahead and finish.
No, go ahead. Nope, I'm done. I'm good.
I was just going to say, and both of you can chime in. It's amazing in college sports going, just speaking of football, for instance, for a second, that when a player, the older they get, it feels like the days have changed where if you don't leave and go as a redshirt junior, if you're a junior, a third-year junior, or a fourth-year junior, then somehow they look at you like, well, you're not as good as you're supposed to be, so you're going to come back to school. Is that the case? So football especially, Larry, one of your specialties, if you're a player and you get to your fourth year and you send out the draft stuff and you're not projected to be a top first 5 rounds, are you coming back to school? What do you think? How is this going to work? And Rachel, you did a good job of when we decide and people coming back. But to me, it's almost the influx. It's not going to be minor. This is going to be a steady diet of fifth-year guys coming back to get it, because there's more of those guys that don't make it than do at the next level.
Well, 1%, of these athletes are going to go to that pro level. Division I, I think that will be a focal point of these Division I athletes who are going to have the best opportunities to go pro. These D2 level, man,
changes, doesn't it, Larry? Big
a lot of
time.
times
Yeah.
your career is done when you get through playing. So you'll see a lot more kids taking that 5th year at the Division II level because there's nothing beyond there for them. There are the rare unicorns that go from the D2 level to the pro levels, but it is rare. And I think you'll see a lot more athletes staying that 5th year, becoming that super senior. But what I also see conversely is if that athlete, physically, the physical demands of playing 5 years of collegiate athletics is unbelievable. I think we'll see some 5th year people that go into the GA role a little bit more at the D2 levels, especially because the rigors of playing 5 years at the collegiate level is tough. I know it. I played 4 years and I was banged up when I got done. And I had to go into the GA part of it. So, after the professional world was eliminated, you have to start thinking about your future and what you're going to do as an adult, in your career life. So I do think that you'll see more kids at the D2 level stay and play that 5th year, but I'd also think that you'll see a lot of those 5th year super seniors that go into that GA role.
Yeah, I think too it will be a little bit like y'all are saying, sports specific on those things. I mean, softball, they're definitely going to take the 5th year. I mean, the chances of you going playing in the pro league, whatever. But I mean, throw in baseball, who is now getting that new MLB rule where those high school kids are not getting drafted, and so they are those. If you're a high school kid going in the draft, you're now, let's say now your path is D1. Well, those kids that were going D1 because there was other kids were going in the draft,
down a level,
dropping down to D2. So you could see, even maybe in baseball, you could see more D2 guys getting in the draft after that 4th year. So I do think there could be, and who knows, because that rule has still going, and I don't think it has technically passed yet. So, but it's something to look out for. It's just another kink in the wheel that we got to be on the lookout for.
No doubt made it tougher on the high school athlete. We should probably see more master's degrees, I would hope. People, I mean, if there's a positive that you went there and you're not going to play, a perfect opportunity that somebody's paying for you to go get, a higher degree, and hopefully people will focus on that. Let me ask you an odd question, but something that I've talked about on my other show. Should we be able to cut? In essence, we can. Should we be able to cut? I mean, with all the NIL, Division I, Division II, we're focused on Division II, but kind of as an overall, because when one adopts it, a lot of times, we'd hope there's more uniformity, but who knows? But should we be able to cut an athlete week 5, not playing well, got some NIL money coming in, but the guy that doesn't have any NIL money is playing better, and you just say, man, this walk-on's better than him. I only got one scholarship available. Should we be able on week 5 to say, you can stay in school if you want, but we're cutting you. You're going to have to pay it for yourself, and you're gone, just like the pros?
Well, it's cutting at the collegiate level is very rarely talked about, but it happens. It happens. And
it's that secret society of a cut. We don't call it a cut, but it's there, Larry.
It's the exit interview and what you are giving, what coach advises you to do. They may advise you to go into the portal. Well, you've been cut, basically, because they've got somebody to come in better than you. My college coach always told me this one thing that kept me motivated, kept me working. His main job is to bring in somebody next year that's better than I am. That's what he's looking for all the time. And my job as an athlete, if I want to keep my position, is to continue to get better and better every single year to maintain my hold on my starting positions. And
to prevent him from going and getting that guy to replace you.
Right. But he's going to bring him in anyway. So you got to keep working. It's no guarantee you're going to have a starting role for 4 or 5 years, cuts do happen, and cuts in money happen. Now that they're not head count scholarships, there will be cuts in money. And
Yeah.
these may encourage somebody to go into the transfer portal to look for more money. So, the harsh reality is that they do exist. It's not advertised. It's not discussed. It's, you see kids going to the portal. Well, they've got ready-made replacements coming in for them right then.
Yep. I remember, playing softball. So our season is the spring. So we would go into the fall, and my college coach was very upfront with us and saying, this fall is going to be absolute hell. My job is to weed out the weak here. And so it wasn't necessarily a cut, but if you can't handle it now, you're not handling it then. So go on and get out.
As we close this out, Rachel, I'll start with you. A parting thought on this Division II 5 to play 5 start. The timing of it. Great for the great for the college kid, and difficult for the high school kid. But your overall thoughts on feelings of this as you give your parting shot to the high school or college athlete listening and the parent.
Yeah. So I actually over the weekend had a parent that was at a camp or a kid at a camp, and the parent reaches out to me and it's like, hey, at this camp, it was a D2 camp. They're saying, like, if you're a high school athlete, this new rule was just put into place, and it's going to be a detriment to your recruiting. So right now we're kind of passing on the 2027 or class just until we can get our feet under us and understand what we're doing. For her, they tell me this, and their spirits were not down because we have a plan. Right. They know that's their eggs are not in that basket to begin with. We're planting seeds all over the country. So I think if you're a high school athlete, have a plan. If you do not have a plan, if you don't know where to go, if you're unsure of what this recruiting landscape looks like, you got to reach out to one of us and let us get you evaluated and see what the right path for you would look like. But to my college athletes who might be listening, go ball out. Congrats. You get an extra year.
Love it. Right.
It's so funny as we are sitting here doing this podcast, a Division III coach is texting me about how he's hopefully that the D3 and NCAA are going to adopt the same rulings, which they usually follow suit. And,
Uniform. Yep.
It's, they're going to be able to keep if the D2, D3s are going to keep these kids for that fifth year, man, imagine what kind of ballers they're going to have at that fifth year. I mean, these are going to be
programs should get better, right? All programs and all sports should get better because of the experience. Hence why they go into the transfer portal and get a kid, but now you get him for the fifth year, which is similar, experienced, seasoned, and kind of understands the game at that point, right?
Right. And there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be certain ripples that happen with regard to this that send kids down a little bit maybe. But, my advice to the high school kid, and I just had this conversation with a family this week, is we've just got to stay the course. We've got to control what we can control and, and put our best light forward so these coaches have the ability to say, man, we got a kid up here that's playing this position, but he may not be as good as this high school kid, and let them make the decision on that. And the only way we can do that is continue to put your academics in the forefront, continue to put your athletic prowess in the forefront, master your craft, work harder than you've ever worked in your life, and good things will happen. We just have to stay the course.
By the time our next podcast comes, the goalpost will have moved again. And if you want great expertise, and I'm being serious, folks, contact the NSR, one of these two, whether it's Rachel Brown, who is a recruiting expert, one of the best in the country, former college athlete, and a scout for NSR. Larry's the executive director. Larry Perrin also as good a recruiter as there is in the country, and both extremely seasoned on these types of rules and where to guide you. That's why they're here, to enhance your student athlete and to make solve your recruiting problems along the way and direct you that compass can sometimes break. These guys are as good at GPS as there is. So, guys, thank you. Great stuff. It's a fascinating conversation for a lot of different reasons. But if you're a high school athlete, the goalposts move, and they were not in your favor. Rachel and Larry are both here to help. And to Brett, our producer, who is as good as there is, he's the true star of this, because none of this happens without him, because Rachel might be able to do it. Larry, maybe. Larry and I are a little more old school. We still want flip phones in our life, so we ain't handling this technology and making sure you get to see this podcast. So, Rachel, thank you. Larry, thank you. Brett, thank you. We'll do it again. This is Recruiting Unfiltered, and I don't think you're going to get the insight anywhere better when it comes to high school to college while you're there, and the recruiting part better than you get here. And these are two reasons why. We'll look forward to seeing you next time on Recruiting Unfiltered. Thanks for taking time.